Welcome to the Kern County Superintendent of Schools Emergency Response Training Series. In this module, we will address the duties and scope for the role of Evacuation Officer. Effectively evacuating a multi-story building can be challenging, and accurately accounting for everyone even more so. Therefore, KCSOS created the roles of Floor Captain and Evacuation Officer to help achieve efficient evacuation and accurate occupant accounting for the City Center and Ryder buildings. Evacuation officers gather and process information regarding their designated floors. They provide detailed information about the status of their assigned zones and then report the results to the floor captain assigned to their floor. The information provided by the evacuation officers is a critical element in determining a picture of the overall status of the floor and is used for employee-occupant accounting. Depending on the configuration of the floor, there will be multiple evacuation officers assigned to a specific zone. This is to ensure quick and effective sweeps, allowing the evacuation officer to exit the building in a timely fashion. So how does the evacuation officer get the information needed to report to the floor captain? The evacuation officer sweeps their designated areas and notes any hazards present, injured or trapped individuals, or those who cannot evacuate for other reasons. Upon notice of evacuation, the evacuation officer facilitates evacuation, directs people to the stairway exit, and provides reminders and cautions against the use of elevators. The evacuation officer then performs a sweep of their assigned zones. In order to facilitate the quickest response possible, each floor will be divided into multiple zones. During the sweeps, the evacuation officer takes notes of the building damage, hazards such as fire, hazardous material spills, and/or blocked access. The findings are marked on the floor diagrams. The sweeps also include the critical function of making sure no one has been left behind unaccounted for. If individuals are left behind, the evacuation officer notes whether they are trapped, injured, or any other relevant information. Before leaving an individual behind, evacuation officers perform lifesavers. Lifesavers should take less than 15 seconds per victim and should be performed before leaving the person behind. The elements of lifesavers will be covered in another module in this series. After conducting a sweep of their assigned zone, the evacuation officers report their findings to their assigned floor captain in the assembly area. The hardest part, but a critical element of being qualified to serve as an evacuation officer, is having the emotional ability to collect information quickly and thoroughly, and ultimately being able to leave a fellow employee behind. You cannot stay with employees. You cannot delay your duties by rendering extensive first aid. Your job is to quickly sweep the zone, perform lifesavers when necessary, and then get out to the assembly area as quickly as possible. If the thought of leaving someone behind is too emotionally difficult, then discuss this with your supervisor. You may need to be assigned another role. The duties of the evacuation officer are concluded when zone reports are provided to the floor captain and all information about the floor is processed. Evacuation officers may also be relieved of duty if the incident commander determines the function is no longer required. The primary forms you will use as an evacuation officer include the Evacuation Accounting and Status Report and/or a floor diagram. The Evacuation Accounting and Status Report is a form developed with a floor diagram specific to each floor. This is the form where you will make notes, mark relevant items on the diagram, and provide whatever detail seems important. The larger floor diagram can also be used to provide greater detail if necessary. Because evacuation officers are assigned specific zones, when marking the diagram, be sure to provide a perimeter marking which identifies the zone you are reporting for. A Go Kit is defined as the tools you need to have pre-assembled in order to perform your duties in the event of an emergency. The Go Kit for an evacuation officer should include a clipboard, the accounting and status report for the floor diagram, pens and markers, and a duty vest. To perform lifesaver functions, trauma dressings and pressor bandages should also be in the Go Kit. In the event of an emergency and notice of evacuation, the evacuation officer should grab the Go Kit and begin facilitating evacuation in their assigned zone. Floor captains and evacuation officers play a critical role in helping achieve effective evacuation and accounting. While there are multiple evacuation officers, filtering the information through one floor captain creates a manageable flow of information into the command post. In addition, the information provided by the evacuation officers is used to help determine next steps, such as providing focused deployment of search and rescue units or fire suppression units. Although it is tough knowing you will be one of the last people out of the building in an evacuation, you have one of the most critical roles in our emergency response. Thank you.